Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is Live and Learn. I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day, your busy lives, your busy schedule to watch my video. And I hope that it's helpful. I hope that you'll be able to take something away that's going to be useful. Perhaps it's providing some insight for you. And if not for you, maybe there's someone that you would like to share it with who might benefit from what I'm saying today. And I welcome you to do that. I also would invite you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That really helps me out. Before I get started, I do want to mention, as I always do, not always, but majority of the time I've done, is point out in the description of this video, you will find my Instagram and TikTok handle at Live to Learn Coaching. You can follow me there for more content. You can also reach out to me directly if you have any questions, if there's a subject that you want me to carry, if you want if you want me to share my opinion on something, or you just want to provide some feedback or constructive criticism. Hey, that's how you get a hold of me. So at Live to Learn Coaching on TikTok and Instagram. Also in the description of the video are 3 opportunities to donate to my channel financially. The financial support is something that goes a long way. It helps me continue to be able to be consistent and provide content on a regular basis here on my channel. It's not something that you have to do, but it is something that's welcomed. And for those of you that have already put your support there, taking your support to the financial level where you're investing your own financial resources in what I'm doing here, I just want to say thank you. It really means a lot. Now let's get started. We are on the final part 3 of the series, where I've been talking about, helping us get through the holiday season. For those of us who may not necessarily see the holiday season as a good time, perhaps for whatever reasons, this is just not the time of year that it is for everyone else, or for the majority of people. And that might just be surface level as well. We might perceive others as being happy and cheerful and joyful, but nobody really knows, right? We're the ones that know ourselves. We know our truth. And for some of us, it's been a good experience over the years. For some of us, it hasn't. And so my main priority here is to address those who may not feel very good, very positive about this holiday season, and really just kind of help us shift towards making peace with that, because we don't want to spend the rest of our lives in a space where it's just negative, where we just don't feel good about things, where every year we dread a certain time of year. We want to push past that. We want to get through that. I think all of us deserve to have some happiness. We all deserve to have some joy, some peace, and we don't need to torment ourselves because of past experiences. Now, we can't go back and change those things, but we can respond differently. We can learn how to function and fix our mindset and change the way we view things over time. It's not easy. It's not a one-day thing. It's not a one-time thing. There's no magic pill. It's something that does take time, but it's a worthwhile pursuit. So today's final part 3 of this series, I do want to just wrap things up by talking about setting realistic expectations during this holiday season. Okay? What are we going to do here? What are we going to try to do from here on out to find peace during the season that otherwise doesn't bring that to us? If we find ourselves in that position where the holiday season doesn't represent a good time, it doesn't represent a happy time, it represents more of whatever it might be, from maybe it's depression, maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's just you had a poor experience growing up and it just rubs you the wrong way. Whatever it might be, what can we do to set realistic expectations for ourselves? Again, like I said, I'm not asking anybody, or even I would never even expect any one of us to just instantly pull ourselves out of the dumps, right? Pull ourselves into a more positive space. It's going to take some time. For some of us, these things are very much embedded and wired into us. So let me give you 3 ideas, 3 bits of advice that I think are going to help us find peace during this holiday season as we wrap up this series. First things first, prioritize. Prioritize what matters most, okay? Why is this important? Why is it important as we come and we're trying to we're trying to do better, right? We're trying to move out of that mindset of the negativity that may be associated with this holiday season. How is this going to help us? When we prioritize what matters most, this helps us spend our energy wisely. You and I, we think of yourself as a cup, right? As a jar. And let's say you fill that jar up with liquid, right? You got water in there, okay? If it's a 16-ounce jar, I don't care how hard you try, you are not going to be able to get more than 16 ounces of water in that jar. I don't care what you do. I don't care how much force you use. I don't care how much pressure you use. Either the container is going to burst or it's going to be full at exactly 16 ounces. And that's each of us. We all have our capacity. We have a certain amount that we can give, and then we're done. We're empty. We can't. That's just it. And everyone's different. Everyone is a different, container, right? So prioritizing what matters most allows us to help. It helps us. It allows us to spend our energy much more wisely. And our energy is something that we choose where we spend it at. So having to prioritize things based on what matters most is going to help us. It's going to guide us to do that efficiently. So we are not wearing ourselves thin. So we are not expecting more from ourselves than we know we can give, so on and so forth. So number one, we want to prioritize what matters most. The second thing we want to do is, and this can be literal, this can be in your mind, but create a to-do list. It's okay to be organized. Organization is very underrated when it comes to self-help, when it comes to mental health. I think organization is perhaps an underrated, source of help. And here's what I mean. Here's what we can do during this season. Again, it could be literal, it could be all in your head, depending how you want to do it. But creating a to-do list that's manageable. And here's what we can do. We can prioritize everything that we want to do or need to do or are expecting ourselves to do. We can put it into 3 different categories. The first category, number 1, this is the first and most important, is our must-do list. These are things that we are going to have to do or we want to do. And there's no compromise here, right? These are must-dos, okay? That's fine. We can have those. Not everything belongs in the must-do group. The second group is the nice-to-dos, right? Hey, this would be nice if I could get this done. It would be nice if I could see this person. It would be nice if I could get a little something for this individual, for this family. Whatever that looks like, okay? They're not must-dos, okay? So if you don't get them done, that's fine, but it would be nice if you could. You see where I'm getting at? So we're organizing based on what works for us. The last group, number 3, is the optional. Optional. So what does that mean? That means that once I've tackled my must-dos and I'm able to get to all my nice-to-dos, now I have the option of doing A, B, C. You see what that does? That number 1, it gives us a strategy how to approach the season. But it also helps us prioritize and not put unnecessary pressure on ourselves, because not everything is a must-do. Okay? I understand not everything's optional either, but not everything's a must-do. So create a to-do list that's manageable. Prioritize in those 3 groups: the must-do list, the nice-to-do list, and the optional. Okay? Last but not least, and this is very important, but I understand it's also going to be it's going to be challenging for some of us. And everyone's at a different level. Everyone's in a different place. So the challenges are going to vary based on where you're at when it comes to this. But the last thing we want to do, again, 3 pieces of advice. This is not intended to cover the full spectrum of what could be or all. We're complicated beings. Everyone's family, everyone's social life, everyone's walk in life is different. So whatever I can do to provide assistance, I'm not going to be able to cover everything, but I'm hoping that wherever you're at, these things make sense to you. The last thing is this: we want to communicate openly. What do I mean by that? You want to establish, this is what your communication should do, okay? This is what our communication should do. It should establish an environment where everyone around us understands, not agrees. It's not about agreement, okay? And for some of us people pleasers, and I'm a people pleaser, that's a tough one. because we want to be agreed with. We want to be liked. But we need to be understood more than we need to be liked. So people need to understand, not necessarily agree, and respect our boundaries. So communicate openly, establish an environment where everyone understands and respects your boundaries. Okay? This is going to help us find peace. People in our lives, people around us, even with the best intentions, will, without even knowing, try to establish some kind of control, some kind of, where they're directing how we should be approaching things. And like I said, not everyone's coming from a bad place when they do those things, but they are not us. They are not you. So you've got to establish that. We've got to be the ones that are communicating so that everyone understands, here is my boundaries. Here is what I've set, what I've established. You may not agree, but you need to understand. Now, what this has done is it's created a space where it's not in and out. We're not being pulled 10 different directions. We have established our boundaries. We have established where we stand, how far we're willing to go, what we're willing to do, how much we can share. And that's going to help us find peace. It's going to help us be okay with ourselves. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, right? Especially for those of us who just, and not even in, I mean, this goes beyond the holiday season. This is year round. We've all got things that we're trying to deal with. We've all got things that are on our mind that are pressing. But there's only so much that we can do. And we must control what can be controlled on our end. And this is definitely something within our control. So let me just run down this real quick as I end this video. What are 3 things we can do to set realistic expectations for ourselves during this holiday season? Number 1, we prioritize what matters most. Okay. Number 2, create a to-do list. Remember the three groups, the 3 lists: must-dos, nice to-dos, and optional. This is going to help us out a lot. Last but not least, communicate openly. Communicate what boundaries you've set so that everyone in your circle understands. And this is going to help us find peace, because a lot of times when we don't have peace, we are trying to control something that's not meant to be controlled. It is not within our circle of influence. But if we can prioritize and we can put our energy where it matters most, that's how things start to get better. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.